Well, hello, we're the Poppet Pals. I'm Derek,
And I'm Katie.
and we're here to review some scary movies. Sort out all the good.
Yay!
Yay! We're gonna sort out the good and the bad, so you don't have to worry about it. You can just watch the good ones. And we picked one of our favorite series, one of the most popular series of all time, for our first episode, Halloween.
Yay!
Even though it's
Yeah.
December.
I was supposed to say, even though we planned on doing this at Halloween, and it's now Christmas.
Oh, yeah, which is fine. We'll do a Christmas episode next year because we missed this one. Sad, but...
I mean, it's still winter. We could always do something.
Yeah, and there's plenty of snowed-in horror movies out there, some really random ones, so we'll get to it. But we chose Halloween just because both like it.
I've always loved Halloween. When we first met, I don't even know if we knew each other, liked it so much. But
we did not.
And scary movies. It just happened that we all liked scary movies, and we figured that out about each other, and we always discuss them. So yeah.
I think I was like, you're a cool, popular person. There's no way you like this stuff, and you were like, oh, he's a nerd. He's probably too scared to watch these movies. Probably at home.
One, I never said that. And two, I would not have considered myself a super popular person.
I know.
I felt like I was a weirdo.
Well, that's what I thought before. I didn't know you were a weirdo. I too was a weirdo.
Didn't know you were a weirdo. But you are.
This was before we became Poppet Pals back in the day. But we actually...
Yeah, and we should...
Yeah.
We should explain the Poppet Pals probably, because people are like, what?
Oh, yeah. Before you guys assume we're voodoo practitioners or something, we're just super big fans of crystals, both of us, and that's how we ended up with Poppets.
And we found Halloween crystals that we love.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, this is a good mascot. So that's how it happened.
Yeah.
But anyways, Halloween.
Halloween. I guess we can just kind of touch on the first one, John Carpenter's classic, because that's the only one that matters if you're watching the new ones. The rest of it does not matter.
It'll always be the best. It'll always be the best.
Yeah, just touching on what made it great. We had The Shape. We had Michael Myers. He was scary. There was mystery. There was the unknown. Is he supernatural? Is he not supernatural? Why is you asked me, you were like, so the first one, or you said something like, why is he targeting Lori, or why is he targeting those people?
Well,
and
I think I was talking about with the new one, because in the old original storyline, it makes sense where it's his family and yada yada. It made sense to me, but then they kind of just completely erased that storyline in these new Trilogy movies.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, well, so what's the point? Is he just was like, oh, I like her, I'm going to kill her? Why?
well, that's what I like about these new ones and the first one, because you don't know. It's he literally just drove by them and was like, you know what? I'm a stalk these kids, and that was it. It was just super random. I feel like the more you explain about Michael Myers, the more you try to unravel him, the less scary he is. That's an opinion. I don't know. Could be wrong.
Okay. Well, okay. So touching on that, I think I have we have different opinions on this one. But looking at the Rob Zombie movies,
I knew we'd get to this.
I know you don't like them, but I did like how they showed him as a kid, and Lori's his sister, and I liked the kid part. That kid they used was super creepy, and I thought it just made him creepier, and I liked that backstory to it, personally. Now the rest of the Rob Zombie movie was meh. But
true, I'll agree, because I at least saw the second one with you. I remember we had this discussion.
Yeah, I think we probably saw it together. Yeah.
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 But
I don't don't know. I liked it at the time when it first came out, but now watching it back, I don't like it as much. But I still really like that they showed him as a little boy, and I thought that little boy was super creepy.
Yeah, the boy was creepy. That kid actor, I remember like his screams like haunting my ears forever because it was a creepy kid, and it was a good Michael Myers. Like that's such a contrast to the original, where it was just some neighborhood kid. Like he kills his sister,
Right.
he comes out. Like it could be the kid next door, and I thought that's what made him really creepy because it's just it's just a neighborhood kid, just an average ordinary. That, like what happened? Like is he possessed? Did he go crazy? Like you have so many questions, and I think that's what makes the first one so good. Like you don't know what caused him to snap, or like is he the devil? Like no, you don't know. He's just the shape.
That kind of leads us into the new trilogy, which is what we really kind of wanted to talk about.
That's true.
Because what you were really kind of just saying, it really is kind of the same for Corey in the newest movie. Like he's just this neighborhood kid that kind of snaps.
Well,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I liked. I did like that part. Of course, we'll talk about that, but that was one of the things I liked about Halloween Ends. Like I thought that could have been really great, but I've got some ideas on how to fix that. I'll run it by the audience, see what they think about it.
So do you okay, so like there's so much to talk about with this movie, I feel like. And I don't think you can just review just the last movie without talking about all three of them in the trilogy, but
oh, yeah, yeah. We can start with 2018. We can start with 2018.
Okay, I was going to say, do you want to start with, which one do you want to start with?
David Gordon Green directed this. Which I don't know if you've thought about it, but he also directed Your Highness. Yeah, let's let that sink in.
That makes sense because Danny McBride was a producer, so.
Yeah, which of course I was apprehensive because, there's been so many remakes and stuff.
I was so scared.
I was scared.
I was so scared when they said Danny McBride was part of it.
Yeah, I thought I was like, you know what, I'll give him a chance because legendary director John Landis, who did like Animal House, like some of those old comedies, did American Werewolf in London, one of my favorite horror movies. So, comedian perspective, like I think that can be unique. Of course, they throw comedy bits in there. There's definitely like some Pineapple Express style jokes in 2018. So, but I think the comedians have an interesting perspective on horror because they're kind of similar in a way. You build up to a joke, you build up to a scare. Like I don't know, there's some parallels there, and I just think it's interesting. But he did a good job. He did a really good job.
Yeah, I actually loved 2018.
I did too.
Halloween. I thought it was awesome. Like I thought it was a good representation of the original Michael Myers Halloween movie, but then also like had newer like today things in it that wasn't cheesy but was still gonna like be relevant to the times.
Yeah.
But it still had that really creepy feel of like this is just Michael Myers and he's gonna kill a ton of people and there's gonna be like some crazy Michael Myers kills and creepy scenes with his mask in the background and him walking slowly, and I just thought that it was so good and I was really excited for the rest of the trilogy.
Me too, because that's what he is. Like that intro with him at the asylum where they're just showing him his mask, and there's all the mental patients are just going crazy. It's like escalating. Like that was a really creepy way to start that movie, and
I thought the whole thing was so good. Plus, it had some good. Well, obviously, it had
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Like some of the original, Jamie Lee Curtis. But then, like the new people were really good too.
Yeah,
I thought.
Yeah, Allison and who plays Karen? What's her name? Judy Greer. Is it Judy Greer? I don't know. I think that's her name, but she's in like a ton of stuff.
I'm really super bad with names. Just FYI.
I know her from Arrested Development. That's all I can say. That's the thing this movie did. It made Michael Myers scary again. It took away the cult. It took that away. It took just went back to square one, made him a creepy stalker, and there wasn't a lot of bloodshed. It was just like creepy. The kills
I
were
felt
creepy.
like there was a good bloodshed. Like I mean, it wasn't. I think
Over
that
the
maybe that's what I
top.
liked about it is it wasn't over the top.
Yeah.
Like Rob Zombie and like
Yeah.
some other horror movies just out there in general in this day and time.
Yeah.
It wasn't over the top. It was like a good amount of just creepy and slasher movie, like OG slasher movie vibe.
Yeah, that's what made it, and it brought back the mystery about him. Like those podcasters at the beginning were trying to figure him out, and I really liked Lori. I liked what they did with Lori in 2018. Like she's just traumatized by what happened.
Yeah, she's just like a shut-in.
Yeah, which
a paranoid shut-in prepper lady.
Which, when I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre preview, the one we watched on Netflix, like the new one, and they showed like the OG survivor from that one and her look and everything, I was like, oh, it's Lori 2.0.
Oh, it's the same. It's the same person.
The same thing. Like, so it's popular now.
Except she lasted about like 30 seconds. Spoiler alert.
oh yeah. If you're planning on watching that, hey, we'll review that one day. But yeah, Lori's really cool, and like, just the fact that she's dealing with the trauma throughout the movie, and she's just like a shut-in, and the aspects with her and her family are interesting.
I loved the ending too.
The ending, yeah, where like it's like, I don't know.
They lock him in the basement.
Yeah, and that whole scene was great because it's like a reversal of the original, like she's the stalker going after him, like that whole scene.
I
with
honestly
the closet.
would have been happy if they hadn't even made it a trilogy. Like I think that would have been a good ending.
Well,
like I think it could have been a standalone movie.
That's what I was gonna say. You took the words out of my mouth. I was like, that could have been it. Like
it would have been a great movie. It would have been open to if they wanted to do more in the future, like they've done since the original.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think they had to like specifically continue this one Halloween story.
Yeah, they could have done whatever they wanted, but a movie makes big money, and that movie did make big money. Like, of course we're gonna get a sequel.
And then speaking of the sequel, then comes Halloween Kills.
Yes. Oh well. Oh boy, where to start?
I hated it.
All right, we're done with Halloween Kills. Moving on. Just kidding.
Moving on. We hated it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason I like these movies is because I am just, like, I love, like, 80s slasher and 90s slasher because I like Scream as well. But I just like the simplicity of a OG slasher film. And Halloween Kills just tried to shove so many like politically relevant things into the movie that I was like, this is just ridiculous. It's so stupid. Like, I just want a simple, like, Michael Myers is running around town murdering everybody kind of movie. And I don't need, like, there's movies out there that are new movies that have different things that are relevant to the atmosphere of our community now.
Right.
And I think they're really great movies, but I don't think if you have something that's already so classic, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah.
I think it takes away from the movie itself.
I agree because, those movies you're talking about, they're more modern and do those things and like have those ideas. They're created with those ideas in mind. Michael Myers and Halloween was not created with political issues in mind. It was John Carpenter made a movie about babysitting and a serial killer.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just a creepy baby, like, scare you when you're a teenager story. Because it always makes me think of that story from I actually think it might be like the stories you tell in the dark, but of like the babysitter, and she gets a call and it's a
like
voice and he ends up being the
that
attic or
urban
whatever.
legend.
Yeah.
That
Like
so
it's
many
just
movies have been made
I
out.
don't think you need to go deeper with this kind of movie. Like, let it speak for itself.
Like, the theme is evil, right?
Yeah,
like, that's
exactly.
the theme. Like, evil. That's it. That's all you need. Like, keep it bare bones. And they really tried to, like, you know, Empire Strikes Back, like, up this sequel, like, so much, bringing back every single character in the franchise. Like, old Sheriff Brackett, who's like 80 years old. Like, we don't need him. We don't need him, or the nurse.
Yeah, or they replaced Paul Rudd with I don't remember his name, but the guy, he was in like Army Wives, and the blonde guy, I don't remember his name. I'm terrible with names, but you know who I'm talking about. They replaced Paul Rudd.
They're with the guy from the Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club, yes, that's what he is.
Anthony Michael Hall,
yes,
I think is his name.
Thank you. I have a terrible. I know faces, but not names. It's so crazy. I have to like be told names so many times. It's ridiculous. Anyways.
Yeah, same. But like, you bring back all these characters and they're just sitting in a bar reliving this terrible tragedy. I forgot how often they meet at this sad bar and like be sad together, but it was just depressing
just like the whole
and lame.
thing felt like you were watching one of those like theater troupes that's like, oh, call out a scenario. You know, it was so like ridiculous. It just didn't
like like Anthony Michael Hall gets on stage every week talking about this terrible tragedy, and they're like, oh no, he's at it again.
Here we go again.
Somebody get the mic away from him.
I mean, there weren't even that any good, like, to me, I will say it has been a minute since I've watched Halloween Kills, because I just hated it so much and I couldn't put myself through that again. But there weren't even any, like, super epic, like, Michael Myers scenes to me. Like, the only thing I really liked was in the beginning, like, when he busts out of the house and, like, there's kind of this epic scene of him, like, walking out of the fire or whatever. But I mean,
that was a good visual.
The rest just didn't make sense to me. Like the mob mentality when they're all at the hospital, and
they like kill
the news.
They kill that mental patient.
The news like report. They see that guy and they're like, "It's Michael Myers," and this guy is clearly 4 feet tall and like not the body shape of Michael Myers whatsoever. But like, and that's what
what they're trying to.
That's what I was saying with like, why does it have to be this deeper message? Like, because it just ends up seeming stupid to me. I don't know.
Because old man Brackett even said he's turning us into monsters, as if we didn't get it. Which we got it.
There's like a few, like I said, and it's not. I don't like. I feel like in this day and time, you don't want to like be like, oh, I didn't like it because of this deeper message, and then you're scared to say anything like that because you don't want people to be like, oh, well, you're just being blah blah blah, whatever. But like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like literally, I just thought it took away from the movie, and like there's like, I don't think you've watched Barbarian yet, right? But it's got this same kind of theme
not yet.
Of like, oh, who really is the monster, you know? And I thought it was fine. It worked great with that movie because it wasn't this already like classic character that we already knew, this storyline that we already knew. So it didn't take away from anything. Like, it was just this new thing instead of trying to reshape an old thing that's already like set and what fans expect a certain thing with it.
Yeah, like, and of course, like, you want your sequel to be different, bigger, but you don't want it to, like, I don't know. They wanted to do something different. They just took it in the completely wrong direction, and with characters that we really don't care about. Like, Laurie's in a hospital bed.
The entire movie. Yeah, the entire movie. Nothing happens.
Yeah, and you know, the characters from the first one aren't doing anything. It's all Anthony Michael Hall and this mob, and of course there were some good kills. Like, if you remember, like some things were pretty brutal.
There were, but
which I liked.
I just felt like everything else was taking away from it, you know?
Yeah, we were focusing on, instead of Michael Myers, he's scary, like we're focusing on, the politics and, this whole
Yeah,
mob
like I don't need
issue.
politics. I just want to watch Michael Myers be scary. That is all.
Yeah.
That is all I
Yeah.
need.
Which you could have done. Like, I thought they were gonna, when I heard this was announced, saw the preview, I was like, okay, they're gonna revamp Halloween too, because Laurie's in a hospital. I was like, they're gonna go that route.
It would have made so much
and I
more
was like, oh,
sense.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been happier with that.
Like, hospitals, a good setting, like have them go in there. Michael Myers kills some people. It's creepy. It's nighttime. Like, hospitals are creepy.
Right. He never even got to the hospital, right? Am I remembering this wrong? He never showed up.
You are correct.
Okay, yeah. Like, that would have been so much better if he had, like, shown up at the hospital and, like, did his thing there instead of them just mob mentality killing this poor little, like, psych ward patient.
Yeah. That was weird and uncomfortable to watch. I did not enjoy that, and the flashbacks were kind of weird too. Like, I don't know.
There was just a lot of weird things. It felt disjointed almost. Like the movie felt like it didn't flow well. I don't know. There was just all kinds of stuff wrong with it.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. I think it was slow, and there was just too much, and like it's best when it's simple and straightforward, and they just try to make it something it's not.
Exactly. Like, if it's an OG slasher franchise that's already got its footing and its fans, like, just leave it surface level and you're gonna be golden.
Yeah. And well, there was a Halloween 3 Easter egg. There was that.
What remind me?
We got that. They go into like the woods, and there's a playground, and the mask, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in the playground, which was cool. Halloween 3 is its own thing, but but it's kind of, I was like, oh, that's cool, little Easter egg.
I do remember that. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and like the finale.
Yeah,
let's one.
Just again, it's like, okay, they beat him down. Yeah. That could have been the ending, even though I would have been really, really mad if that was.
Well, for I know I would too. It made us think that it was, because remember, like, he went down and he was like laying there, and then it was just like, nope, movie continues and kills everyone.
Yeah. Just like, okay, this is gonna be weird, but I hate Halloween Kills. But I almost like that ending as opposed to the ending of Halloween Ends, because he had his like last stand-up moment of, and I know you're not supposed to be like rooting for Michael Myers, but like that's the reason. If you're watching a Halloween movie, you're probably a Michael Myers fan, and you're like, I want him to at least like have an epic go out, you know?
And of course you all knew, because like it has to end with Laurie, because that's
that's
and the way
she wasn't even there.
That's the way it's got to be. Yeah.
So
we knew he was going to get up, and he did.
Yeah, leads us to Halloween Ends.
Yeah. Finally. Of course, in that, finally, and that part introduced, because I think Laurie said it, that introduced the whole idea of, oh, he transcends every time he kills, which carried over into Halloween Ends.
Kind of.
So we at least got kind of.
Kind of.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far, Halloween 2018, great. Halloween Kills was cringeworthy.
Not great. Not great.
So let's talk about Halloween Ends.
Okay, so as a movie as a whole, like looking at the full trilogy, I did not dislike it as much as Halloween Kills. I thought it was better than that movie, just because it did still have some really creepy like moments. Like, I really liked the scene where Corey leads like the police officer down into the sewer, and he's like looking around, and you get this like glimpse of a Michael Myers mask like behind him. I just thought, I love creepy scenes like that when they just show him kind of in the shadows, or like this little small jump scare scene. So I did like it more than Halloween Kills. My problem with it is I think it's like, overall, if you just look at it as just a movie based solely on itself, I think it's a good movie. If you look at it as a Michael Myers franchise movie, it is not a good movie. I think Michael Myers is in like maybe 10 minutes cumulatively of the, we'll have to look that up, how long he's actually in the movie. But he's not in the movie that much. True. Like, most of the movie is watching Corey and Allison go on dates. Like, it's just like, what is happening?
Which also, like, you know, of course it's a movie, everything has happened in a short time, but that in itself was a little unbelievable. Like,
it was a little bit of a cringy relationship. Yeah,
in general. But, you know, I kind of like, I like the idea. I like the idea of evil passing on, and, like, you know, even if Michael is destroyed, killed, whatever, like his evil carries on. I thought that was really cool. But, like, it's just very sudden to focus on him and Laurie and follow them through this whole franchise, and then all of a sudden, bam, here's Corey. Like, in the third one, he's not even introduced.
He's not even in any of the others. Yeah, if he had been intertwined somehow, just the smallest bit in any of the other movies. But, like, it just seemed like such a standalone storyline that it just was, like, almost jarring from the other two movies, where you're like, wait, what? Okay, I guess let's go again. Like, here we go. Like,
Like, because I thought, you know, because spoiler alert, spoils in case we haven't said that, like, before.
In case we haven't spoiled everything already.
Everything. When Karen, the daughter, dies at the end of Halloween Kills, I thought this was going to open up with Laurie and Allison, like, being like, we're gonna get this guy, like, you know, he killed my daughter, he killed my mom, like, it's gonna be a tale of vengeance, and them, like, you know, going after him, like something epic from that. But we just get, you know, we get a scene with Corey explaining his background, what happened to him, and then it flashes, you know, it flashes back to them, and we're what, 4 years after Halloween Kills?
Yeah,
is that right?
4 years, yeah. I think.
And then, like, Laurie's just kind of settled down. She's like, I'm good. Michael's still alive.
That is the most unrealistic thing to me. Like, she literally spent like 40 years as a shut-in, like, conspiracy theory prepper person, planning this whole Home Alone style booby trap house. And then he actually gets free, kills her daughter along with a lot of other people in town, is still free, no one knows where he is, and she is like freaking Martha Stewart. I think she's like, oh god, my cookies are burning, like in the first scene you see her with.
The pie. The pie. I remember that pie.
The pie. Yeah, and it's like, what is happening? You're literally now living in the middle of town, like, not a care in the world. Like, what is going on?
Yep. And, you know, Allison was fine. She fast-tracked through nursing school.
That's why I was like,
you know.
And works at the smallest hospital in the world with one doctor and 2 nurses.
Yeah. Who, you know, the doctor's a pervert, and the other nurse is questionable morals. But,
a lady of questionable morals.
Questionable morals. But, you know, gotta get that promotion.
But it's like, it was. It just didn't feel like a Michael Myers movie, because, like, they spend all this time really making you feel sorry for Corey, who, by the way, gets beat up by 4 high school band kids, and he's supposed to be, like 25 years old or something like that? Maybe not that old, but...
We gotta say something. Like, the one girl comes up, like, you know, bullies come up to you with, like, baseball bats and, like, stuff like that, and beat the crap out of you. She had drumsticks. Yeah. She's like, hey, Corey.
With a drumstick.
Want to throw down?
Oh my gosh.
Like, yeah,
It just was so
yeah, and they're
unbelievable, like unrealistic feeling. I don't know, but uh
yeah, I like the transformation thing. The whole like, he becomes the target of the townspeople's hate because of the babysitting tragedy that
yeah.
happens to him, which was hilarious, by the way.
Darkly
I can't,
hilarious.
darkly hilarious.
Just the way
like,
he because I'm expecting he's got the knife in his hand. I'm expecting it to be a foreshadow of he's gonna kind of turn into Michael Myers and he's gonna accidentally open this door and stab this kid. But no, he
yeah,
300 Spartans this kid over the banister.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
I was like, what?
This is yeah, like at the beginning, you think like, 'cause there's all this talk like the kid's like, oh, Michael Myers is still out there, and you think he's gonna be like be in the house, and the kid plays that prank, and like, yeah, like you said, he Spartan kicks him. I hear a cartoon sound effect.
It
in my
wasn't
head
funny,
every time that
but it
kid
was
falls.
funny.
It's not. Yeah, it's terrible, but the way it was shot was comedic. Of course, a comedian director, but it looked kind of funny. But anyway, yeah, they could have like there was trauma there. Like you're supposed to feel really bad for Corey. Like he's the target of all this hate. And that kind of leads him into becoming the new Michael Myers. And I thought that was a great idea.
I did.
Like, cool.
If it was a standalone movie, like I was saying before,
Yes.
I don't mind like sympathizing with the bad guy or whatever in a movie.
No.
But if it's this franchise that's already like, okay, the killer is just literally pure evil, like don't make me try to like him if he's gonna take the spot of Michael Myers, which obviously, if you've seen the end of the movie, he did not. But
he did not.
he did not. But like, it's just, I don't know. It just didn't feel like.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, this doesn't feel like a Michael Myers movie.
No, it was not. It was not a Michael. If you're a Michael Myers fan and you want a Michael Myers movie, this
You
is
won't
not
like
the
it.
movie
Yeah.
for you.
Which I am. He's
am
my
too.
favorite, probably like classic slasher killer out of all of them.
Yeah,
Maybe.
he's so
Him or-
scary.
yeah.
In this movie,
We can discuss that later.
yes.
But yeah.
Oh yeah. In this movie, he spends 90% of it in the sewer, being a feeble old man.
Which I
Beat
guess
down
like
by Corey.
was the
and
homeless
everyone
guy
else.
feeding him, or
I took that. That's what I
was
interpreted.
he living on rats? Like what was he doing for 4 years down there?
I feel like that homeless man, because he said something to Corey. I forgot what it was. He said something about Michael, like he let you go, like something. So that told me, I was like, okay, this homeless man is like caring for him, like bringing him victims and sandwiches.
I mean, I
Like
don't know.
little-
He obviously knew he was down there, but
Yeah,
who
that
knows?
was my interpretation. It didn't explain, but it was sad. It's sad watching a horror icon become. I mean, he was
Michael
like 60
Myers
something.
is like I said, you shouldn't be rooting for Michael Myers, but he is an icon of the horror genre.
You've got to handle that like carefully, like when
I thought
you can't just
he
make him
deserved
pathetic.
a better ending. Like
Yeah, and we can talk about that too, because the whole thing like leads up to Corey like taking on the mask, and I thought that was great when he like actually put it on and he started doing the killing. His kills were freaking brutal. They
Yeah.
were awful, and like he got those band kids, man.
And I liked when him and
got-
Michael
he got
were
those band
working
kids.
together. Like I liked the
was
scene at
cool.
Allison's
That was cool.
boss's house. Like I liked how it was like the nurse kind of was like, "What the heck?" Like Corey, because he takes off his mask, right? And then Michael Myers
Yeah.
stepped out, and I was like, I liked that part.
Yeah, that was creepy. That was
Yeah.
creepy. Like when he stepped out and did his thing, and he started becoming stronger again because
Yeah.
he transcends every
He-
time he kills.
He was like powering up. Like-
Yeah, and, which there's something there. Like I don't know if he was like transferring his power
yeah.
to Corey.
It
or
was
what the deal
borderlining
was.
for me, a little bit cheesy, but it was not awful. Like it, you know what I mean? Like the way he like
The whole- the
when
whole
he
thing.
first stabbed the police guy and was like, "Oh yeah, that feels good." Like it was kind of like this is a little
it was
cheesy,
just
but
kind of like, yeah, I don't know if he was powering up or he was just like, hey,
like
this is what
transcending
I
or
like to
whatever.
do. This is fun.
Yeah,
I enjoy this.
oh, this feels good again. Yes. No, I don't know, but I the what I didn't like about this movie was the ending. I just didn't like
Okay,
the ending.
we can talk about this because they build up the whole thing around Corey, right? The whole
Mm-hmm.
movie, this whole thing, and then at the end, it's all about Corey and Allison, and Lori like kind of sets the trap for him, faking a suicide, and then she's like, "Did you think I'd really, Corey? Who I
Mm-hmm.
know it's you?" And like, Lori gets him, and then like he's just kind of like Corey again. He's not really like an evil, Michael Myers figure at that point. He's just crazy Corey now.
Is
And then
he or
Michael
is
Myers
he?
shows up.
I think that's what they were
Yeah.
trying to like get at, because like with the kid that died, his dad was like, "Oh, I looked into his eyes and it was a different person." So it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
is Michael Myers just trying to like transfer supernaturally into his
Well,
being, or is has he snapped? Like
that's the thing. They should have committed
they
and
should have
made him
committed one way or
that.
the other. Like one way, I don't
Yeah.
care which way you had gone, but either commit and admit that it's some kind of like psychic connection, or commit
Yeah.
and say Corey has just snapped.
Yeah.
I
Because yeah.
sometimes I
And
like when
then
a movie leaves it open to interpretation, but I just didn't think it fell right with this.
they didn't follow through because at the end they were like, okay, well, Corey, that's done. Now we gotta give everyone the Michael Myers and Lori fight from the trailer. We have
Yeah,
to do that now. So we have
literally
to
the
bring Michael
only
Myers
time that
back
they have
in.
a confrontation.
And when I saw the trailer, we talked about it. I was like, hey, the trailer's out. We're seeing the last like 15 minutes packed into the trailer. Go watch it. Because I
Exactly.
knew that's what
The
it was.
trailer
I knew
is
it,
literally just the last like 10 minutes of the movie.
which rubbed me the wrong way because you're advertising this as a Michael Myers film.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're showing everyone, and then you're
He's
like,
not in
nope,
it at all.
different movie. And the fight we got, where you said it best, you were like, oh, here's two geriatric people
Yeah,
fighting
I know.
poorly
Oh,
against each
poorly.
other.
It's like one of those slap fights you see.
Yeah, yeah. And it just, I don't know, it felt kind of rushed.
It
It
felt
was
so rushed.
rushed.
Yeah, it was
It was
very rushed.
rushed.
And Corey
And
dies
then
so quickly.
yeah, of course, Michael gets him finally because he's
Yeah.
like, you took my
But
mask,
look
you
how long it took
SOB.
him to catch up to. Look how
But
many places Corey went and how long it took Michael to catch up to him. It's like,
I
of
know.
course you like
Yeah.
wait till you get to Lori's house so they can have the big showdown, but it felt so forced. That's why it felt forced, because it's like, oh my gosh, he could have literally followed him immediately and been like, give me my mask back.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I, it was just so depressing to watch Michael
I
Myers
will, like, real quick, I will
in this
say though,
movie.
Corey, we were talking about how we liked the Michael Myers kills better, but I
Yeah.
did like the scene of him in the radio station when he was walking into it, and you see him like slowly walk past the window, and then you see him slowly
Yes.
walk up to the, I guess she was just like a secretary or something, and kill her in the background. Like that felt like old school Michael
Yes.
Myers, and
That
I
felt like
liked
Michael
that.
Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, okay, my idea for this movie, and it probably wouldn't work because people would hate it, but I really thought like, okay, like you take this movie, you want to do the Corey thing, you want to cram it all in, okay, like pick up where Halloween Kills left off, like have Lori and Allison band together, like, oh my God, Karen, like let's go kill this guy, and they like give us the showdown, like let Michael do some stuff, and like just let him run into Corey along the way. You get the whole evil transfer scene happening, and then like give us a big showdown. Michael dies, and then show us Corey turning into Michael Myers, and like and then like kind of like pass the torch on to Allison. Like Allison like has to kill Corey at the end or something. Like make it a like passing of the torch for like Lori and Michael onto this new generation or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
think
do
I would have
that.
liked that. Like, if he even say like it panned out the way it did, if they had gone back and where they had left Corey's body, if he had just been gone, just like in the original Michael Myers movie after he fell out
I
the
was
window and he
waiting
was
on
just
it.
gone, and then
That was
it
the
would have been
scariest
like the
thing.
passing of the torch. But no, Corey's he's just dead. Like,
he's just dead.
he's just gone.
He's just dead.
He's done. So I think that
Michael
would have been
Myers is
way
Meatloaf.
better, and they could have passed the torch, and Allison would have been the new Jamie Lee Curtis, and Corey could have been the new Michael Myers, and he obviously is already obsessed with her because they've known each other like 3 days, and they're acting as if they have known each other forever.
Yeah,
I think it would
you
have
got a good
worked
story
so
there.
well if she had
Because,
realized
you
he was
know-
psychotic, and yeah.
Yes. Like let her
Yeah.
come around instead of Lori like doing it for her. Like let Allison come around and be like, "You're a psychopath. Like
Right.
I'm gonna have to take you out, but I really kind of love you, so it's really hard." You'd have conflict there.
I would have been happy with that.
And
Or
yeah,
I would have been happy with, well, I guess first we have to talk about like the actual ending for this one to make sense. But
no,
they
Yes.
carry Michael Myers' body out and hook it to a car, and then all of a sudden somehow, like, did they broadcast it over the radio? Like, hey, join this parade of a dead body that we're gonna throw into a grinder.
people just
Showed up out of nowhere. Like the whole town just showed up out of nowhere. There was a whole parade of cars and people. But I just hated that ending so much. I hated that he literally, like, this horror icon that's had how many movies now is ended by them just throwing him in a grinder. Like, I just didn't like it, but I think it would have been absolutely epic if they had thrown him in the grinder and he wasn't dead yet, and he woke back up and
Yes.
grabbed Jamie Lee Curtis
I was
and pulled
waiting on
her
it.
into the grinder with him and took them both out.
Yes,
Like, I wanted them either
because-
both to carry on or pass the torch or both die. Like, I didn't like
Yeah.
this, like, well, he's dead. The end.
I think that's what most people, I think, or I think we did. We thought they were both going to die.
Like,
that
again, I'm
was gonna
not
be the end.
rooting for the bad guy, but how epic would it have been, like, if he had, like,
Yeah.
reached up and grabbed her and pulled her in?
Yeah, like that would have been a good final
Just
shot.
like that's like with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, when he, like, you think she's like about to kill him or whatever, and then he rams his chainsaw right into her and takes her out. It sucked because you were like not wanting him
Yes.
to win, but at the same time you were like, well, this was an epic scene. Like, it was an epic
because
kill.
it's a horror movie.
Exactly.
It's a horror movie.
It's a slasher horror movie.
And she's just sitting there like, I killed my boogeyman or whatever. Just
But then
keeping
says
his
something like,
mask.
well, evil lives on in all of us, or whatever she says. I don't know. I was
like,
checked
no,
out
it
at that
doesn't.
point. But
no, it doesn't. You killed it all.
and then she's
It's
just
all
like
dead.
back to her, like, I'm going to go back to baking my pie
Knitting.
and writing my book.
And we didn't even like get anything from Allison. Allison wasn't like, man, I'm affected by this.
She was just like, okay,
She was
bye.
just Yeah. It's just, it was so disappointing. There's just too many cooks, like too many different things being thrown in a pot, like trying to
They
make
tried
it
to
into
push it all
something.
into, yeah. They tried to make it too complex. It didn't need to be that complex. Just
Yeah,
surface level would have been
I
fine.
just- Yeah, I don't know, like, and John Carpenter was like, this movie's gonna be great. You're gonna love it, of course. You know, I guess
I did
for
not
money,
have high hopes after Halloween Kills. I did not have high hopes for
No.
Halloween Ends.
No, like, I mean, you would think the original creator behind this, they would treat it with a little differently. I don't know.
I mean, I feel
but-
maybe they're like, we had a good run and people keep bringing this back, and let's
throw him
not
in the
do
grinder.
that. Yeah. Like let's throw this franchise in the grinder.
Did you see when his skull like just went squish and the like little blood squirted out? That also had a little comedic effect to me. I was like, that's like a slap
giggle,
in the face.
A little giggle.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. Like the end of H2O, which that movie has a ton of problems, but the end of that where she cuts Michael Myers' head off, or what we think is Michael Myers. I was like, and then the movie just ends. I was like, that's great. That's cool. Like it was a cool ending, but that meat grinder thing was just sad.
It was sad.
And people were just like, oh, there's an old man strapped to the car.
Honestly, like
that's Michael Myers, I guess.
It like more than the meat grinder, I think what bothered me more was after she slit his throat and he kind of like came back for one more like try, and then she slit his wrist, and like I hated that scene of her. It was like a slow, just drawn out cut across his wrist. And it didn't bother me like gore, like I thought I was going to be sick to my stomach. But it bothered me like, oh, like you're just really, I don't know, like almost like just kicking this icon while he's down almost. It was like too much. It was too much for me. I was like, I don't think it was needed. Like you already slit his throat. You're gonna grind him up. Like I just didn't think it was needed, and it was almost like you said, a little bit sad.
Yeah, it was, because if Michael Myers had more to do in the movie and like had done some, there was some like cause and effect there, like I could understand her being like, sadistic.
Yeah, and like she, that's like, what it felt like. She was being really sadistic for no reason, because he'd barely been in the movie. Like, I mean, and I know like obviously he's haunted her entire life, but it just felt like I don't know, like it left you feeling unsettled, and not in a good way. Like I like when a horror movie leaves you unsettled, but this was like a not good feeling of unsettlement.
Yeah, I was trying to think of another example of a good death.
Yeah, but, I mean, there's been a lot of them, but like it just like it felt like such a letdown for such a huge character.
Yeah, because like I know it's been like 4 years, but are you telling me he aged that much into this feeble character in 4 years? I guess living on sewer rats and
no vitamin D.
Yeah, I mean, literally saw him quaking, like shivering in his boots, like at one point, and I was like, oh my god. Like, I can't watch.
I guess, like, all I would have left to say is, like, just, I would be happy if they did, I mean, at some point they're gonna be like, we're doing another Halloween movie. It might not have, I probably won't have, like, the original people or the original plot, but it's probably gonna come back in some way, shape, or form.
It's coming. Oh, yeah.
But this, like, I don't want this to be the end, because I do feel like it was a little bit of a letdown. But looking at like the trilogy as a whole, I would rate it like the first one was the best for sure.
Absolutely.
The third one was second, and then the second one was the worst. Absolutely the worst. I really wish they had just done a standalone with that first movie. I think it would have been fantastic.
If you are considering this trilogy and you are a fan of Halloween, watch 2018.
Just watch the first movie and stop. Just stop. Pretend that's the end.
Yeah. And you will be very happy. You will have a great horror movie, and you will still be like, that's the Michael Myers I love and know. And you can skip all the nonsense. Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I recommend the first one. If you have to, watch the other two for completion. If you have to.
Well, I think that like kind of wraps that up, right? I mean, do you have any final thoughts?
That's my final thought.
Yeah, that's
and
my
I just have hope for the
Just
future.
watch the first one.
Because I forget, it's like Mustafa Cod, whoever, like he's been like the producer of this franchise, I guess now, like his family, I don't know. So we know it's not over. Like he'll do something.
I hope it's
Michael
not
Myers
over.
will come back.
I don't want it to be over. I don't want it to ever
I
be
hope
over.
this is no, it'll come back. I have hopes for the future, and I think that's it. But I do want to go back, and we'll do other episodes for you. We'll talk about the old ones.
Let us know too any other movies that you think we should watch and talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot. But
Yes,
you might know something we don't.
If I've not seen it already, yeah.
Yes. We'll come back with something else next time. Until then,
let us know if you agree or disagree, and don't be mean.
And don't and don't watch Halloween Kills.
And don't watch.
Bye.
Skip it. Bye.
See you next time.